Happy New Year. So today I'm just going to go through some of the moments from 2022 from the different various Vanguard events that I entered. I've been to more events this time round than I did in previous years for various reasons. Like I had a team that wanted to do more Springfests, so they want to do four of them around Europe. And there's also a situation where I kind of ended up going to more BCSs than I actually wanted to go to because first I already had Belgium booked by the time I won Rome, and also I had the France invite, sponsored invite basically, so I was kind of forced to go to France in a way. So I ended up going to two more BCSs than I actually really needed to go to. So um, that's kind of like how things kind of went. So anyway, this is from the shop challenge. This is kind of like a big highlight moment, but obviously also just among some of the few photos I even took. There have been like a lot of things that have happened this year. Oh, sorry, the previous year even, because now we're in 23. But the thing is that obviously like you kind of need the right situation to actually think about bringing out a camera. Like if maybe the environment is a bit more relaxed, then obviously you're more likely to bring the camera out and take photos. So this is one of these cases where my opponent basically 6 damage healed 3 times, and that kind of stopped me from being able to make top 8. So um, kind of a sad way to kind of end my career, but it was funny for everyone else who was watching, obviously. And then over here, this is basically from Spain, Peter and Hal both making top 8 with ripples, and obviously this card had just been announced for a ban. That's why they're holding these cards up, because it's over for this is last moment, sadly, and you can blame that on the atrocious card design of Genovius, specifically, which was made in so many ways to um, kind of elevate it so much with Odysseus. So that's kind of what happened there. And afterwards, they just went off to the river to say their goodbyes. Except they would have, but obviously, firstly, they'll be littering the river, and secondly, the police were there. So due to that, they kind of had to kind of keep Odysseus, dry and safe. So next day, we went and played V, and we kind of all got paired against our friends quite a bit during the day as well. There are some other photos that Ben took as well. So I kind of just added a handful of them into this slideshow. But here, there's just me kind of being paired against Kalen as well, and there's Peter. There's also Nuno in the final round of Swiss as well. So I hadn't actually played against Nuno before. I've known him for years, so I've met him back in Worlds during the final Worlds of G era, and he made third place with Overlord. This is the same year that Daniel Herrera won with Blasters, so it was basically a very Aichi and Kai year because you had Blaster Blade, Overlord in the top four. And then we basically played our games. We made top 8, of course. Like, it didn't really matter the result of this game, and I think we were both on undefeated, so it would have been guaranteed. And we ended up on the opposite side of the tournament brackets, so basically the only way we could have played against each other was in the finals, but unfortunately that was taken away from me by Steam Maidens. And not only did Nuno's career get ended by Steam Maidens, then mine kind of abruptly ended as well. So I had my high roll, which was great when you're playing Astropoets, but especially against Steam Maidens, because they usually only play like 1 Gree 3 heal. So unfortunately, my attack felt just a little bit short to do the cheesy high roll, and then what happened was is that after that I was on 1 damage, and I kind of died sooner than I expected because the Piano Man came out. The Piano Man is now going to be gone soon, so I won't be seeing him at Worlds. But yeah, that's kind of like, I think that's like one of the times where I've gone to an event and had the kind of scary Piano Man end me. So that's basically Spain. I ended up coming second there, and then over here we went later on we went to a restaurant and we had food as well. I think the group kind of split up a bit as well, but this is quite a good place because you could have different types of meals from different cultures. So there's like Japanese, there's like Italian, for example, and there was quite a bit of fun we had there as well. And then after that we went to Leeds. This time I met up with EJ and Mash, or Arpan, and Mash is what he's known as online, and basically we went to King's Cross to get the train from there. So this is just platform 9 3/4 as well, um, and I took like a handful of photos from there as well. But I didn't actually know about this until like quite recently. So like in that same week, I heard people talking about the carriage in platform 9 3/4. That's over King's Cross station, and that's how I kind of like realized, because I've been to King's Cross quite a bunch of times recently, but I never noticed it. And then here it's just basically a case of yeah. So this is basically Sage won, or Alistair or Sage. Sage is his online name. Basically, he won uh, in London. Sorry, Leeds BCS. I gotta remember it's not in London anymore. So they kind of went to another place. I think probably because they want to get a bigger venue. London, there was some issues because there's so many players that go to UK events. It's basically like, I mean, for America, it's kind of the equivalent to California. Like it's kind of the part, like that specific country out of, in sorry, state in America's case, but it's that kind of region where that attracts the most players usually. So this is sort of like why it ended up being Leeds, but also I think it was also an opportunity to get more people from up north as well, because there's always been a kind of a thing about like London. It's maybe not always the best place for people up north, but also London, there was like strikes as well. There was like the last time for Springfest, but there's also this whole thing with also hotels. Hotels were insanely expensive in London as well for people who try to travel in. So I think this time round actually there were less people traveling from outside, like from other parts of Europe. Like most people, almost everyone there was actually from the UK as well. So there weren't too many people like compared to say Springfest. I think in Springfest there's more people traveling for it. So it was a bit different in a sense. So yeah, Sage got his qualification for Worlds, and so we went to Nando's afterwards, and yeah, this is sort of just the kind of post kind of meal thing after the event is over. Usually like, you know, you just go and unwind. There's nothing to kind of think about in the next day because there's no events, so everyone's just going to head home soon as well. And oh yeah, there's EL as well, just kind of pouring lemon and herb, just teasing Sage, because basically it's because he basically, I think, eats like lemon herb rather than getting the extra hots, or extra, is it extra hot? Yeah. So it's like the opposite side of the spectrum. It's that kind of thing basically, and he just goes Grand Blue deck, laid out his amount, and also there's an invigorate Sage because obviously yeah, Sage, that's more or less what it is. And then here this is basically from Rome, so I play against Jay. I actually play against Mazor in Leeds, but so that was like when I was using that Mimi Bermuda deck. This time around I was playing one of my more normal decks, so I used Regalia, and I think yeah, the way the game went was that I basically bricked, but turns out Jay also bricked, so I didn't see my CEO Yggdrasil even in my turn 3 drive check, and then I got to my turn 4, I used Frigg to search for CEO, I got the CEO off the top 5, and then I got my 2 Norns set up. So then I had Ordinal, so I powered up my units, so I had a pretty solid turn, considering obviously like I could counter Narukami because I had Frigg on the field. But then the thing is that it turned out that Jay's hand were like quite a lot of grade 3s, so I was kind of like worrying about defense for almost nothing, because I made like a very like high powered turn, but then of course it turned out he bricked as well, so all that kind of like whatever draws he was getting just weren't really doing much good. And then here we've got the Ammon that I won as well from the event. So I didn't just win the Ammon and the gold trophy, but I also won the free trip to France. So I went there and played with Magus, ended up coming 9th place, so I bubbled out. So it's kind of like, oh, congratulations, you win Rome, now go win France if you actually want the sponsored trip to LA. There's been a few events like that. I think Derek also went to an event, I think it was Perth or something, where he came first, but he got a trip to Singapore, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a bit similar to that as well. And so yeah, the thing that's quite funny about this is that Italy, I got the Italy trophy before I even got my Spain trophy. So the Spain trophy, which was the second event before the ban list, and this trophy took until France for me to be able to get it. So I went and picked it up there in the last BCS event. So it took like 3 events for me to actually get the trophy. Or was it 4? No, 4 events. So 4 events later, then I got the trophy for the event that I did back then. And then moving on. So this is obviously just me doing some sightseeing. So there's actually like a museum nearby that has statues from the olden days of Rome. And the thing is, because I won Rome using regalia, and obviously if anyone knows anything about Roman mythology whatsoever, that statue is obviously meant to be Minerva / Athena, and I basically used Minerva to win. So the meme here is that I basically just went to the statue nearby and took a photo with the cards there, and then yeah, that's sort of just one of those kind of funny moments, I guess, of the year. And then afterwards I went back and then I found Hao and Jay as well, and they were basically playing in the finals, so they had a fun time playing Steam Maiden versus Steam Maiden. And I think it just came down to, like, apparently it was just whoever went first won, so they just rolled some dice. Hao rolled the higher number, so he got a free trip to France. Congratulations. And then afterwards I walked down, I found Nuno and Wolfram just playing some friendlies as well. Wolfram's the guy who won Leeds. He won the D series tournament with Zorga, so he's the kind of like the big Zorga guy. Like if you want to talk to anyone about Zorga, he is the guy. And then next we have another photo that basically took on the way for food. So there's just me, Jay, and Hal basically standing in front of a pyramid. It's a bit like a Yu-Gi-Oh reference, and basically with Yu-Gi-Oh, there's actually a bit of a fun fact where one of the people that made Vanguard was actually a former like Yu-Gi-Oh assistant. So he actually helped Kazuki Takahashi with, like, working on the manga and things like one of these mangas, because it's not just Kazuki Takahashi who passed away quite recently actually, but he wasn't the only one who worked on it. He had like a team around him as well, just like with a lot of other manga artists. So that's why you may notice, if you've read like the manga, or rather looked at the character designs at least, like some of these characters, they do have a bit of a Yu-Gi-Oh like appearance. So the original Vanguard is a bit like Yu-Gi-Oh in some ways, the art style even. But then you look at Vanguard Overdress, and they got the artists, instead of getting a Yu-Gi-Oh artist, they got Card Captors or Card Captor Sakura and Code Key S artists for that one. So yeah, there's usually there's like some interesting kind of artist lore that goes on with each of these series. And then next we've got just some photos from the Vatican as well. I kind of went there. Oh, and there's also the Pyramid of Daylight. So I did do quite a bit of sightseeing. There's a lot more photos I got elsewhere, but I'm just going to skim through this. This is just the moment where I got my passport as well. So I need to actually go to France, but turns out you have to actually use the passport at least 3 months before it expires, and I didn't realize that, so I had to get an expedited appointment to quickly get the passport so I could make it in time. And I just took a picture in front of like places, one of them being Buckingham Palace. It was just nearby, so I just kind of did a bit of casual sightseeing during that day off. And then over here, just some photos from after the event. I don't know if this was on the Saturday or the Sunday. I think no, this is definitely the Sunday, because this is when I met Alex's team. So Peter, Alex, and Jasmine. I played against Alex in the finals. So I think this would have been like after 11 o'clock at night, basically, because the events did take quite a long time. And so what happened was when I finally tried to head home, I actually had to take like a bunch of buses out of London. So all the trains got cancelled, I think, or there was train strikes during that weekend. Was it? I'm not sure if it was cancelled or if it's just like too late for me to get a train back. But either way, I had a struggle getting home, so I was back home by like 3 in the morning due to that. So after that, then I went to there was Springfest. So now we're going backwards in time, so it's a bit confusing here. I didn't really order these properly. I'm kind of rushing through this, but basically this is just one of the moments when we won Springfest. I think this would be the second Springfest that we went to, which was in Germany. and that was when I finally got hold of the 4 copies of Uranus to keep my Genesis collection maxed out. So I've got like the complete kind of prize card deck build for Astropoets, which I've played quite a handful of times, thankfully. So it's really nice when you can still make use of these sorts of decks. And also, other than that, I will be looking for the serial number Minervas, especially if you get like any sort of special numbers, like any 001s or maybe 777. I don't know. I would like to get like some of the funny numbers as well. So like I'm pretty set on collecting these because I've been very deep into collecting these. So if I'm going to collect anything like in this game, I'd rather get stuff like that. And then yeah, after that, well, just a whole bunch of selfies. But basically, we ended up winning 4 premium events that season. So 4 premium, 2 V events, first places as well. And then we had 1 third place for V and 1 third place for D. And oh, this is also with Dave because Dave. So basically, one of the premiums and one of the V's was with Dave, and one of the V's was with Jack as well. So it gets a bit confusing, but yeah, this is okay. This jumbled it up again. But this is from Spain. Top 8s for this is premium format, and then just some more images. This is just stuff that Ben took photos of as well. So just some of the players that kind of had to go against each other, people that were friends with each other. I can see myself there as well. I think that's Miracle Shitpost Loris over there. I think this is like he was playing. I think it was the rain. Yeah, it was the Reindeer deck he was playing as well. So this would have been V format, and there's Michael using Steam Maidens, and Stefan using Spectral Duke. I think this is the reverse as well. And then top 8 for V as well. I guess I was just tired. I don't even know. And then there's just some other images from Springfest that year. Some more of these kind of games. Ben, I think, has taken quite a handful of photos of people going up against their own friends. So this is kind of like one of these cases where you got like Kaden, Hal, and Hamish going up against Tajay, Chris, and Victor as well. And then also Hal's team going up against Michael, Carlos, and also Arpon, or you may know him as Mash as well. And then there's also, oh god, I did not get enough sleep. But basically, I was up until 3 in the morning for the V tournament. So I basically prepared like 3 decks as a sort of backup in case we decide to drop out D and play V, because we actually had reserved slots technically, because Dave and me, we basically kind of like merged 2 fragmented teams together to form it. So we technically had like slots in both formats, and we were kind of hoping to find a 3rd teammate. I was kind of banking on the idea that maybe because of the strikes that there may be some difficulties, so we'll probably find like someone who might have broken up, but turns out all the teams kind of came out intact, so that was a bit of a surprise because of how bad transport was that day. And then Jack basically offered to help to fill up the 3rd slot. I think they're actually like they're talking about just throwing our position away, which would have been really bad, especially for Dave, because Dave like traveled all the way. Just because like for some reason, if you only have 2 people in a tournament, it's instant disqualification or something. It was kind of weird. Yeah, that's basically what the situation was. So Jack helped fill up the 3rd slot, and then we basically I basically tried to teach Jack how to play Oracle Think Tank. I think it's like the first time Jack ever played V, and but basically this is kind of like where the funny meme story happened, where Jack ends up not winning any games, and basically managed to make 3rd place somehow. Well, I felt like on my end, I ended up losing I think 2 games, so we kind of like scraped into top 8. So we somehow managed to get into top 8, but then we played on to the top 4. I basically won my game, but then Dave's game was I think against it was basically Prism versus the what was that anime called, Bang Dream, and I think it was like a very long game, but I think the Bang Dream deck like managed to really last like super long and eventually grind out. So yeah, we were basically done with that. We went at 4th for third. We won the third place game, and that's how we got our Amaterasus as well. And then the next day, Maxime came. So basically, Maxime couldn't make it on the Saturday, so we had to recruit a third member, because what happened is you may have heard about in a recent video he uploaded where he mentioned he got sick, and so he kind of delayed his trip to come later, and so here we are, and we came first in London as well. So we've actually got now, well, Maxime and I, we have 4 Malkuth Melechs now, because we went to 4 tournaments. So we actually managed to kind of collect a prize card, 4 copies, without actually having to trade it off anyone. So that's kind of like a kind of funny moment. I guess the same thing with Agnos as well, because this would also be the 4th Agnos as well. That's given out to like top 3 in every tournament. And there's also the Clasinas, which is given out as participation, but hot stamp for top 8. I've got quite a lot of Clasinas lying around because I went to quite a lot of events, but it's like entry participation, and then you add top 8 where you get another copy in hot stamp, and you know, that's like 8 copies. But I think I might have also done a few trades, like people might have wanted other promos. I think I would have like just given one of my promos for their promo or whatever, like kind of situation. So I ended up with quite a lot of them anyway. So yeah, that was the end of the weekend, but it was like 11 o'clock at night and I was tired. I hadn't really slept much in that weekend, and trying to get back home was a mess. So we didn't really have any time to celebrate anything. We just all split. Like literally, like I don't think I did anything social related with Maxime whatsoever during that weekend. So it's just like, okay, we're just gonna play the games and then that's it. We're just done. I think even with Dave, because on the I think, yeah, because he was with AL, so there was like a whole situation with hotels being a bit of a complicated mess. So Eyal basically sorted something out with him, and they just stayed in his area, and Eyal gave a lift in because Eyal was driving into London as well. So there wasn't really there was never really any kind of real social kind of things going on in the London weekend, as opposed to like every other BCS that I'd be going to, or BSFs even. Usually there's like some sort of like after dinner or something, but here it's just like, okay, I've got to rush off now and try and get back. All the trains are cancelled, or like maybe it was just too late for them, but there was like train strikes that weekend as well. And then I got home by like 3 in the morning, so it was a bit chaotic. And of course then I just went to work the next day exhausted. And then over here it's basically yeah, this is basically the team that we went against in the finals, so Premium. This is how I met Alex, because I played against Alex in the finals. He was running Dungaree, and that's kind of like another thing that kind of comes out of it, is like some of the other moments I have when I play in these events is that I've made some friends just from going to tournaments and just going against them. Like sometimes in finals, like Ben as well, same thing happened with him. Where is he? This Ben. Basically, I met him by playing against him in the finals as well of a tournament. And then there's like, oh wait, no, actually, I'm going too far ahead. There's also Kaden just over here. I met him like the night before we played against each other as well, like in the hotel. But then we got paired. This was back when they did like 2-day events as well for Vanguard. So we actually had 2-day events once upon a time with best of 3, well, partial best of 3. And that was the late G, so that was the best time off the game, obviously. So it was great times as well. And yeah, the season just ended for Springfest. So these are basically like all the medals I got, and some of the prize cards I collected as well from there. So they're all actually United Sanctuary cards, I've noticed as well, which is quite funny. Like these Amaterasus from Oracle Think Tank, the Genesis Uranuses, the Angel Feather Malkuth Melechs, and then you got the actual Nation Strides for Agnos, and you got Fasado from Ket Sanctuary as well. So it's been kind of a bizarre year. Like I went to loads of events, but then I got in total 4 first places in the Premium Team League, which I did not expect. I didn't expect to get 2 first places, 1 third place, and 1 D third place as well. But then also like later on in the year, I managed to qualify for both V and P World. So I got the 2nd place in Spain, I got the first place in Rome, and there was the top 8 for the Leeds as well. Which actually Leeds, I got a chance to play against Michael as well, who I haven't actually played against for years. He was like someone that I basically played my first ever finals against as well. So a bit of a nostalgic moment there as well. And he was playing Aquaforce as he always has been. So like he's like one of the most skilled Aquaforce players out there. So yeah, it's been quite the year, and now we're in 2023. So I guess now it's just time to prepare for Los Angeles. I've got my visa now sorted, so thankfully I will be able to make it. Like all my preparations are sorted. There was like a whole kind of worry that I wouldn't make it because basically the ESTA thing. Turns out to get an ESTA, if you've been to any of the following countries, which are basically Muslim countries, since 2011, they don't let you get an ESTA, which is a bit weird, but obviously like it was a bit of a annoying policy because it meant then I had to book an appointment for a visa. And the thing is, the actual appointments were basically scheduled, like you could only get them for like months ahead. So I had to plead to get an expedited appointment, which I managed to get in the end, quite early on as well, thankfully. So it didn't take like super long, thankfully. Like I managed to get it kind of done with still some time to spare, which meant that I didn't have to spend much more for travel, because obviously it would have cost a lot more if you book flights a lot later as well, and even hotels. I did have to sort out, I sorted like my hotels quite late as well, so I managed to find a group, and we'll basically kind of setting for that as well. So yeah, looking forward to kind of catching up with people there as well. There's like some people I haven't seen in years as well, like quite a lot of names like Joshua Lee, I know I haven't seen in quite a while, Noman as well. There's like a lot of names. I might just leave it at that, because if I start listing loads of names, I'm gonna start annoying people. I know there's also people who are like local as well, like Deo as well. I kind of looking forward to seeing him again as well. But then there's also like new people as well, who I've been contacting online as well, that I'll be seeing for the first time too. So there's quite a lot of there's quite a lot of interesting things, I guess, about it. Is like the whole gathering. It's a bit almost like a convention. So yeah, I look forward to see you guys there, and I guess Happy New Year to everyone, and to another, I guess, hopefully a good year. So I guess until then, I will see you guys later. Bye.